in July, I was on GB News, his morning political show with Camilla Tominey, reviewing the newspapers, which is kind of first for me. On social media, I was getting people saying things like, "Who's this guy? Is he drunk? Has he been on coke all night?" Cool stuff. I mean, they weren't to know at that point what it was. But of course, I looked back at it and I saw why they were doing it, because I was really doing this thing of moving back and forward, and that was really what I was. That was really what people were responding to. That and a kind of, occasional hesitance with language, with words and things. So I thought people commented to make me realise that you couldn't hide it any longer.
You can't, and often that I say to people, the tell in Parkinson's is often the dyskinesia, that sort of jerky movement that you're talking about. I know a lot of newly diagnosed people are paranoid about things like their tremor or other motor issues, but actually often the sort of dyskinesia, the side effect of medication, is actually the tell. Or at least it was in my case.
Me too.
I remember seeing myself back on a YouTube thing that I did, and at the time I thought, that went quite well. And then I watched it back and I was like, oh my God, is that me? I look like a Parky. And I was like, for me, that really hit me. That was more impactful than probably the actual diagnosis itself, because I thought, oh, right, I actually now, when I say I have Parkinson's, I actually do. And rather than being in control of the situation where I could choose to tell people how and when I chose to, then actually now all of a sudden didn't have that choice, and it was all, out of my control.
There is quite a lot of discussion about it around, and interesting formats like this one, and stories like Dave's and others. I think that does an awful lot of good, to
very powerful,
demystify and make people understand that, that it's not, God, the idea that suddenly, I'm not the valuable person I was because I've got this condition is just so horrible. So and it's not true. So let's not judge people in that way anymore, and be open to it. Dave, do you think you wrote the Mail piece? We all knew you, so there must be some comfort to you that you managed to do some good at least.
Yeah, people were so good to me afterwards. People just came up and said thanks for sharing your story, because I was in the same situation. I didn't want to tell people, and I told them because of you. Yeah, I think that was a huge thing for me, that it just affected so many people.
There was an instance of a guy in Ireland, wasn't there, who had quite a profound effect on him, didn't you?
I was doing the darts in Belfast, and I went out afterwards for a quick pint of Guinness. The guy came up to me and said, "Thanks for saving my uncle." I said, "What do you mean I saved your uncle?" He said he read your story. He was ready to end it all. Sure, you're having a good life, and continues. And your influence made him stop what he was going to do. So,
well, that's amazing. When you start talking about things, it just makes it better for people.
It does, yeah.